Hello, all. My topic is Shifting Tides of American Sitcoms Working Towards a Progressive Worldview from Friends to Modern Family. The authors are Dr. Suparna Naresh, Associate Professor, Department of Media Studies, Christ Team to be University, and myself, Varsha Narayanan, MAMCS alumnus, Department of Media Studies, Christ Team to be University. So TV sitcoms they began in early 1950s in USA to provide comic relief. So the move actually happened very gradually. It moved from simplistic comedy that used to ignite laughter to comic satires meant to provoke the audience into questioning the wrongs done in society. This shift happened really gradually. American sitcoms have changed over the years at multiple levels with multiple shows coming into the dynamic. Change that has happened is in the choice of themes, character portrayal, situational context, relationship dynamics. So what I'm trying to do is here compare these two sitcoms, which is Friends, which aired from 1994 to 2004, to Modern Family, which aired from 2009 to 2020. So sitcoms in the US have been around for more than 70 years. What is a TV sitcom? A TV sitcom is basically a 20 to 30 minute episode revolving around recurrent characters that appear regularly. Sitcoms, they have to try really hard to imprint their presence in the collective minds of the audience right from their inception to become a successful sitcom. And it shows the American way of life, their family, the struggles that they face, and their ability to laugh at themselves at any eventuality. So, Friends and Modern Family, the two sitcoms that I'm going to compare today, is they're subscribing to the American sitcom format and they've succeeded in establishing a strong audience viewer contact over the years. They are proof that comedy can be a serious business. For review of literature, I have taken Media and Representation, which is media's power to determine which issues are important is detrimental in deciding which issues need attention and are products of discussion. Gender roles in media representation talks about media, how media is an important part of the study of gender studies itself, as it forms the idea of what is socially acceptable. And diversity and representation, any show that represents diversity depends on the structure of relationships shared with people, the creative process and production rather than individual preferences. Methodology. Study is an attempt to understand various elements that add to the popularity and success of American sitcoms and the changes, if any, in the genre over the years. We have taken two popular sitcoms, that is Friends and Modern Family, and they have been enjoying a long-standing presence of Friends having 10 seasons and Modern Family running for 11 seasons respectively. So we've used qualitative content analysis and we're analyzing themes, story, characterizations, issues to be discussed, and stands taken. Our theoretical grounding is framing theory, which is an offshoot of agenda setting theory. Framing theory basically helps you to understand how people look at the world from within an existing primary mental framework. Analysis. So the researchers, that is me and Dr. Suparna Naresh, I have identified four rubrics to analyze and compare the sitcoms to reach the conclusion of progressiveness and the shift in terms of media literacy. So the four rubrics are as follows. 1. The concept of romance. 2nd, relationship dynamics. 3rd, starting a family. And 4, sexual identity and orientation. Let's go to the first topic. This is concept of romance. So both sitcoms have basically provided different romantic relationships that evolve over the seasons. The difference, according to our analysis, is found in the way of representation of these relationships and the basic understanding of the concept of romance. For example, let us take Jay and Gloria from Modern Family. Jay and Gloria have a huge age gap between them. Gloria is much younger than Jay, and Jay is in his 60s. And when they start the sitcom, they're shown for being married for around 6 months. And Gloria is from a Colombian family, but the age difference doesn't matter to them because they love each other. And there are many situations. For example, when in a football match, Jay is considered as being Gloria's father, or in a comedy show during their anniversary, Jay is made fun of by the comedian, but Gloria always stands by him and tells him that no matter how old he is, she did not marry him for the money or according what his age was, but she married him because he was kind and caring. Again, when we look at Monica basically actually dated both a younger man and an older man. So there was this episode where Monica dates a younger man called Ethan. He's a high school senior, and but that relationship is termed icky. There is this entire episode that is dedicated to it, which says the one with the ick factor. And again, Monica and Richard have a huge age gap between them. Richard is an eye doctor, but he's much more older than Monica. But because Richard doesn't want to have kids, Monica breaks up with him eventually because Monica is very determined to have a child of her own. But Ethan is younger than her. He is a high school senior, and that is why Monica breaks up with him, because Monica thinks that the relationship is icky. So the term icky has been described to categorize Monica and Ethan's relationship. Now, it was bold of writers of Friends to showcase a lesbian relationship, Susan and Carol. Susan is basically Ross's wife, ex-wife, and she gets into a relationship with Carol because she's a lesbian, and then thus divorces Ross. But not a lot of space was given for them to evolve and create their own story. So no matter how they've showcased a lesbian relationship, if they would have given a lot of chance to evolve and like their storyline could be progressed more, it would have been better. Whereas in Modern Family, Mitchell and Cameron, the relationship has evolved over 7 years, and they are not just the central gay relationships that they have shown in Modern Family, but there are several gay relationships that are showcased. Next, we come to relationship dynamics. Both sitcoms establish important relationships amongst friends and family members. The extent to which they evolve or the screen space that they take into comes into question. Modern Family ensures characters have a background to establish their place in the series. So every character, if you look at Modern Family, has had a background to establish their places so that you know where they're coming from. Each character has interacted with the other. Relationships are not complicated, but they're intertwined in a way that provides comic relief as well as established key ground for every relationship. But friends, there are a lot of relationships, but there are a lot of other relationship dynamics apart from the relationship that the friends itself have, but not a lot of interaction or background is given to them, and hence no evolution of those relationships. For example, here Phoebe and Ursula are twin sisters, but what made them stop talking to each other or what made them hate each other or not like each other has not been given. Again, Joey has 7 sisters, but they rarely appear in the scene. There's one scene where they have like a dinner together, and there's this other scene where one of Joey's sisters get pregnant. That's the only interaction that he has with his sisters. So even though there are multiple other plot lines that has been given in terms of relationship dynamics, but they have not been allowed to evolve. And here we have many in Modern Family. We again, because one character has interacted with every other character, we have a lot of relationship dynamics that is going on. We have Jay and Manny, who are basically stepdad and stepson. Their relationship in the beginning is shown to be a very rocky, has shown to be a very rocky start, because Manny is still not over his relationship with his own actual biological father, and is very uncomfortable around Jay. But as the seasons have progressed, one can actually see that they have built a strong relationship. And because when Manny goes off to college, you can see how Jay reacts to it, and he's very, very sad that Manny is leaving off to college. So they've built a strong bond over the 11 seasons. Phil and Jay, again, Phil is the son-in-law of Jay. Jay's daughter is Claire, is married to Phil. But again, Phil and Jay have another separate relationship. Phil is very uncomfortable around Jay, and Jay likes Phil, but then he's not very close to him. But throughout the seasons, you can say how much time these both are given in the series, so that so that the relationship can evolve. Again, Jay and Cameron. Cameron is Mitchell's husband. So again, Jay is very uncomfortable around Cameron, but then they watch football games together, and there are scenes where they talk to each other about things. So that basically gives an understanding of what kind of relationship Jay and Cameron share. There are sibling relationships that take place. Again, like apart from in Friends, apart from Monica and Ross, there are other sibling relationships that have taken place. But the only thing being that these sibling relationships have not been evolved or have not been given the space to evolve. For example, Rachel has 2 sisters. Rachel has two sisters, but both of them have not been shown to have a very good relationship with her. So Jill and Amy, they both come into the series, but they're not given much chance to evolve and see the story behind how these sisters are together. So yeah, but in Modern Family, we have Alex and Haley, or when Alex goes off to college, Haley hugs her tight, and even though they fight like actual siblings fight, but then they're also there for each other at the end of the day. For example, when Alex breaks up with her long-term boyfriend Sanjay, when she's in college, and it's a long-distance relationship that has been broken off, Luke is in the same college having a blind date with Manny. But then when Luke comes to know that she's broken up with her sister has broken up with her boyfriend, he ditches the date to stay back with her sister. So a lot of these relationship dynamics have been explored in Modern Family, but a lot of these relationships have come forward in Friends, but they've not been explored or evolved enough. Next, we have starting a family. Here we have pregnancy, adoption. These are the rubrics that have been taken. Both sitcoms have brought about changes in the way people look at traditional parenthood. So again, if you see Friends, you have these women coming up with, there have been archetypes of people who go through adoption, surrogacy, and infertility. These are the topics that are dealt with. Again, Carol and Susan. But then the problem comes in when there are other women too in the whole series. For example, Carol and Susan, Frank, Alice, and the triplets. So apart from a few scenes maybe where Carol and Susan get married, or maybe when they come over to hand over Ben to his father, there is not a lot of screen space given to them. So again, because they're very very different kind of relationships that have been put in Friends, which is basically a very essential understanding that the audience needed to have at that point in time, but they did not have the screen space to evolve, and their lives did not come into the screenplay. Now, how Ben was raised in a lesbian household, we do not really know apart from a few scenes where maybe Ben takes a Barbie from a toy store, and that is replaced with GI Joe, or very few scenes that actually show how Ben is raised in a lesbian household. But Modern Family has actually taken a very different concept on fatherhood. You have Jay, who basically when Gloria is pregnant with another child, Joe, with Jay realizes that he can actually spend all the time that he has with his kid that he couldn't do with his first wife's children, that is Mitchell and Claire. Now, Mitchell and Cameron, they broke traditional barriers of LGBTQ community. And these both have had their own issues to deal with, have had their own insecurities, but they've always communicated that with each other and resolved their problems. So even though these are the central characters of the series, there are a lot of other characters that come into place who have also started their own families, but they have been also given some screen space to evolve. Again, with Lily, they have adopted a Vietnamese kid, Lily, in the beginning of the season, and you can see how they bring up Lily to become this beautiful young lady, and they've taught Lily how to face her fears, from riding a motorcycle to acquainting her with her Asian or Vietnamese culture. They've done all of that together. Writers of Modern Family have portrayed the relationship that not just is limited to any gay relationship, but every couple that is in the audience that is watching, every couple can relate to such kind of a relationship. They did not make this relationship very, that gay relationship has to be this way. A gay relationship has to be this way. No, every relationship has to be this way. Or every relationship is this way. There are problems, there are solutions, but it depends on the partners to talk about it and resolve their problems. The fourth concept or the rubric that we have taken is sexual identity and orientation. Now, Chandler is thought to be gay in the series. A lot of these scenes where the friends actually tell him that they thought he was gay, and when they first met him, and Chandler takes a lot of offense to it. There's a scene where his colleague in the office, she actually thinks that he's gay and wants to set him up with another male friend or a gay friend of hers. But he takes offense in that too, and then he comes over to his friends and asks them what makes him look gay, and they say they have a quality, or he's too feminine in his ways and attitude. Now then there are lot of times when throughout the season Chandler compliments the same gender, that is, he compliments men in many ways, that he looks beautiful, or have you seen this guy or something like that. But then every time he says that, he's looked at with derision with amongst his friends. So now the term gay itself, on one hand, when they show a lesbian couple in the whole season, they also could have handled the term gay very maturely, because Chandler could not have been shown taking offense. Maybe he would have been comfortable in his own way of complimenting another gender, complimenting the same gender. It should not be an issue, but it's actually shown to be looked at with derision. Now, representation of LGBTQ community is immense in Modern Family, apart from Mitchell and Cameron. So Mitchell and Cameron have a lot of other friends that come and go throughout the seasons, but they haven't. They also have their own story. For example, Pepper and his partner, they've adopted a kid by the end of the seasons, and Pepper is one of their friends who also, Pepper and his partner actually prepare for Mitchell and Cameron's wedding. They have this other gay couple that comes into the toddler class that they go with Lily to in the beginning of the series, or they have their other school parents who's a lesbian couple. They have their own story. So like that, there's a representation of LGBTQ community a lot in Modern Family as compared to Friends. Now, Friends could have celebrated the lesbian love that they had showed. Even though they showed the lesbian love, they brought out characters like Carol and Susan. Not a lot of it was evolved around it. So these characters were not allowed to have their own story, even though these characters were in the plotline. So conclusion, the four rubrics actually give us a glimpse of how representation has been considered in both the sitcoms and how it has progressed from Friends to Modern Family. Now, romantic relationships, when you look at romantic relationships, Modern Family is much more evolved. There's not a lot of closure that happens in romantic relationship in Friends. And many relationships, again, were not explored deeper in Friends, but were actually explored deeper on Modern Family. So you have Carol Susan on one hand, where you have that representation, like I said before, but Chandler on the other hand, where he's ridiculed for looking gay, or he takes offense on that. Now, Modern Family have explored gay relationships deeper, is according to our analysis. Throughout the years, audience have become extremely media literate, and that can be seen in several sitcoms created in recent times. For example, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and many more. So much more, they're much more evolved in their storylines and stronger with their choice of themes. So these are the references that have been taken for the entire research paper. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.